Hey everyone, let me show you how a roll of this and one of these can put you on the road to practical prints. Stay tuned on this episode of Average Joe's 3D. I think unlike everybody else, I got the 3D printer, and before I bought it I was thinking to myself, because of course I didn't say it out loud to my friends, but sure, 3D printers are cool, but how am I going to use it? Why isn't it going to be a $300 hunk of metal and plastic that's going to sit in my shelf and collect dust? How can I prevent that? So of course I Googled, what prints can I print? And I saw a lot of things, Batman things and toys that I can print for kids. But on the practical side, it's kind of skimpy. There are some things there for your phone, which you would expect. But what else? I mean, what else can I use it for? And so I recently got a new job where they put me in a command center. And as I'm looking around the new office that I have, I started to think, you know, I use Tinkercad. I think I can make something that makes this a little bit better, a little bit easier to use. I'll show you what I mean. Real World Solutions, this key box. So we got to work, too small for my fingers. Trying to design something to make it easier day to day to use. So I designed this knob in Tinkercad. It goes in place. It'll be later double-sided taped in, but right now it's just in place. And this will lock and unlock it pretty easily without me having to use my little fingers to try to get it in and out. Let's see how we design this. This is a little bit of a close-up of what I used. It was a little bit more difficult than I expected. I'd have a big knob for the top, like I said. I'd have a big flat part to make it stable as I was using it. And I had to reverse engineer the entire inner parts of this part, fit like a glove over top of it. Now I'm happy to say, after only three revisions, I was able to put it in place, have it snap into place, and without any glue or double-sided tape, is not coming out. It should be pretty solid. I can always add the double-sided tape later, but right now, super happy with the way it came out, and better yet, oopsie, my boss is super happy too. And then, excuse me, then I looked around, and I saw that we had Motorola radios, and I thought, well, what kind of accessories are available for Motorola radios? And this is what I came up with. As you can see in the pictures, it gave me a place to put that radio besides right on the top of my desk, where I have, I don't know, I have a habit of knocking over a little bit. With a bigger base like that, it really settled it in tight. So let's see how I made it. Let me go ahead and bring up Tinkercad. Okay, so let's start with the radio box, okay? So the radio box, this part of it said Motorola, was already available, but I wanted the base to be a little bit bigger. So I imported this STL file from Thingiverse, and I added this base myself. Now let's see how we added the base. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Let me go ahead and ungroup. Here we go. So the base, of course, we said is its own thing. So let me raise it up. It's the bottom part that was kind of tricky, because you have to think in your mind, I have boxes and squares and circles. How do I make this something that's going to be a little bit curved on the bottom, make it kind of easier to use than the big square thing? So let me go ahead and ungroup that, and I'll show you what I used. Here we go. So in Tinkercad, there was an option for this pill, like a pill box. As you can see, it's kind of like a pill. It's usually like this. A little wonky. Let me get that back to 90. Okay, let's go. Okay. Let's go 10. Here we go. I don't know how it got off a little bit there, but I'll pull this up like this. Now it's flat. I pull this up like this. So it was actually a square with rounded corners. And then what I did was I took a box that's a hole and I just moved it up into the bottom of it to erase all the parts that I don't want. The gray parts are the parts I don't want, right? And once I have that, I group it together. Now you see that base again, way up here. And we bring the box over. We set it down on top of it. Alright, let me move this over a little bit. Once you have it close to where you want it, the great thing is we have an align tool. There we go. Where you can select both of them, hit on the line, and then hit the middle buttons here and here. And now it's lined back up like it was before, and I can group that together and then export up here. And then we have even more to ungroup. I think this is grouped, so we'll ungroup this. I had to make some adjustments because it wasn't right the first time. So here's a second cylinder that I used. And ungroup this. And here's the second keyhole that I used to make the groove. Oh, now I take it back. That was actually the face that I wanted. Let me remove the groove here. There we go. So now I'm left with 3 circles. One on top, one flat, and then one on the bottom. So we'll remove the one on the bottom, like this. And then the one here. Now this was the tricky part. This whole handle to give me something to grab. That was different because that's actually not what you think it is. We'll ungroup that. Ah, see, it was like a pill that I used this square to chop half of it off to give me something to grab. So that's how I went from fun to functional in some of my printing. Now, not all of my printing. I'm still going to have fun. What did we learn in this episode? We learned that as you look around your environment, if you see something that's not designed the way you want it, as a maker, like you and I, you can make it better. You can tinker it out. When you tinker, think basic shapes. Everything is a line or a curve, and if you can break down the shape that you're looking for, as I did in this, you can spend an hour or 2 hours making something like this very easily once you get your mind wrapped around where do the circles go, where do the squares go, how do I layer them like a birthday cake and put them together. So don't be afraid to be a maker. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't print out the way you think it would, and then you just don't tell anybody. You're like, no, I didn't print anything for that. If you do, I'm going to tell you, when I brought that radio box to work today, I got a high five. That was awesome. So don't worry about things. Don't be afraid to print things out. Accept all the high fives because as a maker, you deserve it. As always, I want to thank you for tuning in today on this episode of Average Joe's 3D. As always, go ahead and subscribe at the bottom so we can grow this channel. And you guys have a great day.